I want to touch briefly on SQL Runner. Michael is doing a presentation on it later. But we have the SQL Runner plugin, which will let you run SQL against FileMaker data. So in this case, it's selecting name and email from the people database. There's the results. You can also do joins between tables. So this is selecting from the people table and the address table and joining them on equivalent address IDs. And in FileMaker 11, you can do even more stuff. You can replace a question mark with a field value. So in this case, we're selecting name and email, where name is like question mark, or really name is like %, which in SQL terms is like a wildcard character. Basically, will match anything. So I could say HRIS, and we get Chris because wildcard HRIS matches. I'm going to go back to this. And these results in FileMaker 11 can also be gotten with a special function that returns results based on row indexes. So in FileMaker 10 and earlier, you could only get text results. In FileMaker 11, because there's a new API for getting results, I'm not demonstrating it here, but you could actually get container field, like binary data. And this question mark lets you insert binary data. So you'll probably wait until later for more information about SQL, but if you get this plugin, there's an SQL introduction, a lot of information about how FileMaker uses SQL. Let's see, I guess I'll do another plugin demo. I've got about 9 minutes left. Menu popper. This is a pretty simple plugin, but it's pretty useful. Basically lets you show a pop-up menu on a FileMaker layout. So this menu definition is being used to create this menu. We have a menu item, new line. Submenu creates this two-item submenu. We have a dash that creates a horizontal rule separator. And then we have this menu item returning an alternate value. If we click it, it will return alternate value as a value. Whereas if we click, say, menu item, we'll just get menu item back as a value.
And it could be assigned to any named object, or just files?
It's basically a function call, so anywhere you can call a function, that could be a button or a field. And we'll get into, I think, some of them. You can set the separator characters for your menu definitions. So these are a series of Windows file paths. We've changed our menu separator to a comma instead of a new line, and our submenu separator is now a slash instead of the angle bracket. And the value separator is a colon. And we set the value first, which basically means that the value comes before the menu text. So file on C drive is going to return C because this value, followed by the separator character colon, appeared before this. And this also happens to let you do a submenu of directory file in D drive and file in F drive, thanks to the slash character being used as a submenu separator. And here's an example of showing a menu item, a menu on a field. So you can pass the location of the field. It returns a question mark when you click outside of the menu. And you have to track for that if you don't want that to appear in the field itself. So this basically passes the location of this field to the menu function call, and the menu function call shows the field where it was told. You can also show things over a button like that. This is using a named object on FileMaker layout. This is a FileMaker value list. This isn't our menu, but this shows that you can use the exact same value list, just passes a parameter to the menu call and get the same values. Any questions about this?
Chris, would that have application where you have, sometimes the way it's handled, people they want to have a user select from real values in a list that are familiar to them, but they want the actual thing to be entered to be an ID.
Right.
Meaningless.
Yeah, that's one of its.
That's
one of its purposes. Like in the first example, this menu is returning an alternate value, so it says menu item returning alternate value, and then the alternate
Oh.
put after a colon, like a semicolon.
That's nice.
That's what it's.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Alright, so, let's see, next one I wanted to show you was keyboard and mouse. This plugin was written originally for FileMaker 7, so FileMaker now has the ability to do hotkeys that this provides. This makes them a lot easier to use, I think. But it does also things with the mouse, and like when I click here on this PeopleDB button, this whole thing is an image, and clicking the image passes the location of the mouse click using the plugin, and the script decides that the PeopleDB button was clicked because it knows the size of these different buttons.
So map in the US, click on Arizona.
Right, right. Yes, it's basically image mapping by using the mouse. Here's another feature. When you enter preview mode, this was a big problem in older FileMaker versions. It wasn't clear how to exit preview mode if you ever wanted to preview a print job and the users might get stuck in preview mode. Even on FileMaker 11, if you end up hiding the taskbar, you can't really see how to exit this preview mode. So we have a special function that if the user clicks anywhere in the layout, it'll exit preview mode. If they click a key, it'll exit preview mode, so any key. So basically, if they do pretty much anything, it'll exit preview mode. Let's see, and here the plugin can simulate key presses. So if I put a K and then I try it, it'll put the cursor in here that's done using the script, and then the plugin actually types a physical letter K as if the user typed it. So we can do things like, this is Command O, happens to open the open file dialog, so that's as if you hit Command O. You can also do hotkeys, as I mentioned, like I've underlined this E, that's a Windows.
Wait, does that mean you can script going into layout mode?
Yes.
From the data layer.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it'll script Command O. So
Oh.
Which, if it's from the data layer, means you can determine who the user is. Right?
So I just pressed Alt or Option E, and I got into this. I activated a script. Now I can. The underlined S means I can press Alt S to save it. There's Alt E again. I can press Escape to cancel it. I can press Enter to save it as well. And you can do similar things with triggers in FileMaker, the more recent FileMaker versions. But you have to have a script gets called on every key press basically, and it gets to be kind of a mess. Interpreting those hotkeys. With this, let's see, you just create. Too far. So we've added 3 hotkeys on return, Alt S or Option S, and on escape. And these are setting to EmpowerFM variables called button pressed to save or cancel. And then all you do is pause the script, and the script will remain paused until they hit a hotkey. The plugin will automatically unpause the script, and so this same script will continue, and it'll remove the hotkeys so they don't interfere with anything else. And then it'll check if the button press was saved, it'll do one thing. If it was view script, it'll do another thing. There's a view script button on that tile. If it was cancel, it won't hit any of these things. It'll just exit this script. So I think that's it for this. Any questions? I got a couple more minutes. Do you want another one?
Awesome programming effort.
Yeah, thank you.
Great weekend project.
3-year project. This is one of our free plugins called Text Toolkit, which basically lets you do hashing and regular expressions in FileMaker. So, as some of you may know, it's not safe to store a password in a database, but it is safe to store a hash of a password. So if I say my password was my password 2, click Store Password, I've hashed it, and I'm going to store this long hash value. which is a representation of my password that will always be the same, so every time I click store password, it's the same hash. But you can't go from the hash back to my password too, at least not with any current cryptographic techniques. So when someone is trying to log into your database, they type their password, and you hash it again, and compare the hash value to what's stored in the database, and it says your password is correct. Or if we type in the wrong password, we get the wrong password is incorrect. So if a hacker stole this hash value, they wouldn't have any useful information. They wouldn't know my password too.
What encryption techniques you use? What happened?
I think this one is probably SHA 256. It supports a number of different ones. All the SHA versions, TR1. What's that?
MD5.
MD5, yeah, that's worse. And then for the regular expressions, we can use it to standardize this phone number, which has just been typed in as digits. But click standardize, it turns it into a nicely formatted phone number. You see how that's
Deal with foreign numbers and extensions.
Yeah, you'd have to change your extension, your regular expression in order to handle that, but it could definitely handle that. So it's basically calling the regex replace function, and it's searching for the caret, which means beginning of string. /d means digits, and we're looking for 3 digits in a row, followed by 3 digits in a row, followed by 4 digits, followed by the end, which is the $, and it's replacing it with brackets, the first group of digits, and the second group with a dash, and the third group of digits.
Chris, what advantage would this have over auto-enter calc replace?
This can be used with auto-enter calc replace. The advantage is that it's a lot more versatile than FileMaker's search for a match by position or whatever else it has. It's kind of limited. FileMaker is kind of limited. So before it looks for digits, it will actually get rid of anything that's not a digit. So this capital D is the inverse of digit. So this will match anything that's not a digit and replace it with a blank. So we can demonstrate that. If we typed in a bunch of text, it would just get rid of it and standardize it. This one will validate an email address. So this is a valid email address. But if we get rid of the dot, it's no longer a valid email address. That's using another regular expression. So running a little overtime, this is a free plugin you can download and check out how that works using the view script button. You can also iterate your matches. This script demonstrates that we're matching the first value in the value list, and the second value, and the third value. FileMaker provides a similar ability with middle values and value count, but this ends up being a lot faster than FileMaker when you have a long value list. And here's another example of iterating 2 regular expressions at the same time in order to alphabetize them. It just puts them in the correct order as it iterates them. And this one capitalizes each word by iterating over the matches to each word. Each word has become capitalized here. So, any questions about that? I think I actually got through everything.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And let me put up the final slide, which contains the 10% off any purchase until the end of March for those attending. And if you visit FMDiSC 2empowerFM.com, will automatically be redirected to a download of this presentation. You can look at all the URLs and stuff that were presented.
Great.
Two quick questions.
Oh, we have 2 questions here.
I may have missed at the very beginning. Do you do this full time now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the concerns I've always had about using plugins is the new version of FileMaker. I don't know if existing plugins are going to be compatible.
Right.
Does FileMaker make new versions available to plugin developers prior to release?
They do, if you pay for it. You have to be part of the TechNet member.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right. But that's the mechanism by which you
Right.
write. And do they provide tech support to you as a plugin developer?
I think it's a little bit unofficial. I've been able to email Clay Aiken at FileMaker, and he'll get back to you eventually, but it's not, it's not the best.